Sign up now at elevate.miami.edu for my course, Organized Rhyme.
At the word legacy, while involving some wordplay, I'll use the first syllable to build upon. We'll use the first syllable, leg. For the second syllable, we'll use an. And for the third syllable, we'll use the word knee. So now we have leg and knee. Can we use it in context with legacy? Let's just see.
Wordsworth Productions with a S.com for all merch. I got 2 books available right now. Well, Words Are Worth Volume 1, and I also have a children's book called Socks. Age range from 12 to 15, so it's kind of like the middle school and high school age range, but adults can read it as well. Make sure you check out wordsworthproductions.com. There you can book me if you want to book me for shows, consultations, panels, and things of that nature. And also it'll give all the upcoming shows that I'll be attending or performing at or appearing at as well. Wordsworthproductions.com. We write plays, books, movies, anything that deals with writing and creativity. Contact us. What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of What Words Are Worth. And today I got a special guest, man, one of the best lyricists out there that's been putting it on for years. Man, you guys got to know who this is. Breeze Brewin of the Juggaknots. Him and his brother Buddy Slim, sister Queen Heroine of the Juggaknots. They've been killing it since the 90s, and they put out a classic album called Clear Blue Skies, which actually got reissued this year. And he's going to kick it with us today and talk to us about all the people he's worked with, especially that Prince Among Thieves album, which was produced by Prince Paul. So, you know, that's a classic as well. So he's going to tell us like about his writing abilities, give us some writing tips, and show us how we can get into that level of lyricism that he has. All right, let's check him out. So yes, welcome to the stage, Breeze Brewin.
Good morning. Peace. What's good, y'all? Morning, my brother.
I'm good, man. So I always like to start off with like making sure I tell everybody kind of like, you know, when I first heard you rhyming and stuff, man, and what it's like it was new. Like, cause when I hear your flow, I don't hear nobody flowing like how you flow. So that's kind of where my first question is. It's like trying to understand like what's the origin of the name and how'd you come up with this flow, because it's original, you know what I'm saying, and it's mad hard to be original. So how'd you put it together?
I mean, the name came real early, probably before I started rhyming. I got that real early. So there's a brother on my block, my man Chris Bascombe, we call him Chris Kringle, and he was like the OG on the block. So like he played ball, he had girls, he had like the I mean, matching do-rag and the satin shirts or whatever, you know, yeah. Patent leather Air Forces, and he had the style, like he was that dude. So my pops, he was like, yo, what do y'all like? We were like, we want to play basketball. So you put a hoop up. So certain cats would just come over even when we wasn't even there. Like we come home and Chris be in there just getting shots up. So then he taught me a lot about the game. So then he was like, yo, you know, I like your style. You just like kind of run around. You don't bother nobody. You like the little dude who be helping the older dudes. So there was a cartoon, Breezely and Sneezely. So there was Breezely Brewin. And he was basically like, you know, just the young boy running around. He would help his pops. The pops would get in trouble, and he would help him out. So it's like, you kind of remind me, I'm gonna call you that. So it started with the whole Breezely Brewin from him. So shout out to my brother Chris Bascombe, Chris Kringle. And then that's long. That's a mouthful. So then it just went to Breeze. And then I was just Breeze until I started rhyming. And then I was like, well, I'm going to bring back the Breezy Brewin. So since I was like 8, my mom was like, yeah, I like that. I'm going to call you Breeze. and it's been ever since. I haven't really done that. And as far as the flow, I don't even know. Um, I was just, just like you, just a fan of this hip hop thing, and I would hear, certain dudes, and I just wanted to kind of be like them. I don't know, maybe when I was younger, I had a lisp. I still kind of have a little one, and it made me
Who you listen to though? Because I'm telling you, like from my perspective, there's not once you come on the record, I know it's you. And nowadays, sometimes you know somebody by the voice, you might notice them by the flow, but like for the most part, that when you come on the record, it's you. So like, is it like I guess a piece of this MC and that MC? Which MCs?
I mean, I think about the dudes. Rick was really important to us because Slick Rick lived in our neighborhood in the Northeast Bronx, so we would see Slick Rick.
Okay.
So he was kind of like everything for us. And I had the tapes before Rick was on like Def Jam. There were tapes that went around the neighborhood. So there were there was versions of Indian Town, to like I think it was like Impeach the President because he was rocking with Vance. So it'd be like I was an Indian, so like we would listen to all that. Those just went around, and then there was other like wild battle tapes, like just like stuff from like I guess like T Connection Fever type joints. And I would hear MCs that I don't even know who they are.
Okay.
To this day. And I would play those tapes like religiously. And then other than that, it was like listening to like Chris was a big influence, KRS being from the Bronx. And I'm not gonna front, I think Special Ed was like that Youngest in Charge album was everything to me.
All right, now
everything to me.
That's me too. And it's wild because I just was listening to some Special Ed stuff. Torre had posted something about wearing clothes and like something with Brooklyn. He had a Special Ed song playing, and I was like, "Yo, Ed flow."
The first two,
it's kind of unorthodox. And then he's Jamaican, so does that have any part in it too?
It could. I mean, cause my mom from Jamaica, my father from Trinidad, so there was like a little accent in the crib, and I could never finesse the Caribbean accent. So it was like, and my mom, she would just the kind of disdain she would give. She just give you the face like, look, you ain't gotta talk like that. Just do your thing. So maybe trying to fit in and then just being like straight up Yankee, you know what I mean? It was like it's the Bronx, everybody, even the cats, Puerto Rican kids didn't know how to speak Spanish. Jamaican dudes, you know what I mean? It's like once you got out there and you was like in the neighborhood, you was in the park, it became our own little thing. So I wonder if it's just like literally just environmental. And Special Ed, man, he was a huge influence. That person, Youngest in Charge. I'm Saxon. To me, I don't know if there's many records that I like one of the first records I analyzed because everybody knew I got it made. You know what I mean? It was just so like it was catchy, it was easy to follow. But when I played I'm Taxing the first time, I was like, whoa, like this is next level lyricism.
Yeah.
And then that continued, I think, to when you think of like You Wish You Could and to the next album, I thought Legal was slept on. But I'm a huge Special Ed fan to this day. I listen to anything he'll put out. I just want to hear the dude flow. And it's just bug, like enunciation. Like even between like the Trini side and the Jamaican side, like I would listen to the differences and this like people like, oh, that's Caribbean, but like if you listen, there's like just little differences that make each one distinct. And it was like whatever, if I rhyme, I want to try to be distinct. And then Guru, like Guru was, I thought the way he like just pronounced things, his intonation. I wasn't really big on like cats like mega energetic. I like cats who are like kind of in like the tone was like condensed almost. And obviously, the Rakims, the Canes, Master Ace. Master Ace is a huge, I'm a huge Ace fan from Take a Look Around. my mind was blown.
Everybody you're mentioning, I'm hearing, I can see the pieces now to the puzzle. It's crazy because it's wild. But when you're mentioning certain people, like when you mentioned Guru, I was like, yo, that explains that aspect. Because we're
and
all
I can't forget Pooh Bah, man, like that early. And I'm talking Masters of Ceremony Pooh Bah. I'm talking cracked out Pooh Bah. You know what I mean? Red Posse. Because by the time, by 13, we had moved to the Rochelle. And the only thing I knew about them was the Masters of Ceremony. You know what I mean? And I was a huge fan. Positive K. Like cool cats. You know what I mean? Like I like dude, like it's cool.
Everybody is saying I can picture like a birthday, and I'm like, when you say Positive K and Pooba, the sarcasm that they can have.
Yeah.
Now when I hear you rhyming, I'm like, okay, now I know where that came from. So that's dope. See, like I would have never known none of that. Like, but now we're all parts of different puzzle pieces. So hearing your puzzle pieces makes me realize, like, yo, this is how we got Breeze. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we all come from the influences, and I was just really lucky. The time I came up, my brother, he would always go. He would run up the block to the record store. There was a joint right on. We were on the Mount Vernon Bronx border, so we would go. It was easier for us to go to this record store on 3rd Ave in Mount Vernon, and they had all the joints. I forget the name of the joint. Was it Yellowbird? It might have been. And then, sometimes we would go to Moody's on 225th. So it was it 219th at the time. But yeah, man, just being a fan of this and just coming up and hearing all this good stuff. I just consider myself fortunate just to have that influence. And and again, man, that KRS, man, when he hit down and hearing joints like poetry, like how his enunciation is like, I don't think people talk about that enough.
Yeah.
Because he used that as like a technique. And it just from the start, it was such a fun activity to try to put these words together and put the bars together. And I'm still geeked up off of it, to this day,
So I got a question about when you're creating now. What are we doing? Paper? We doing the writing still? Where we at with the computer, phone?
Before we had got to this, I was thinking about this idea of being like a traditionalist, right? And it's like I have stacks of notebooks.
Okay.
Like going back, I mean, I've been rhyming since I'm 12. So it's like I've stumbled across joints I wrote in high school. I've stumbled across the whole, the Prince Among Thieves joint. I have the majority of those in like one binder.
Crazy.
And some of them joints, they got the mold on it and all that. And it's like I'm not getting rid of it. I just can't. It's like something I just need to have them just in case. So I still stay with notebooks. And as a teacher, here's the funny thing. Like, how you can give kids, all right, this is gonna be your journal notebook. And you got a couple of kids who write on the first 2 pages and then they stop coming to school or they don't do it or whatever. So I'm definitely like, a word, that's what's up. I tear out the first couple of pages and I'm like, so it's everywhere. And it's like, it's bugged because it's almost like the notebooks take on their own type of characteristics, their own personalities, because for some reason, like, you'll go to one notebook and it'll give you this, and then you'll go to another notebook, and then I just get them all together. I throw them on the kitchen table. I'm like, all right, what you got for me? And what's been happening is it's been like an amalgamation. It's like I got all the notebooks. I got this word here. I got this phrase here. I got 2 bars here. I got 4 bars here. And now I throw those all on a Google Doc. So now I got like 8 Google Docs. And it's like, I'm trying to do this project. So it's like all of the verses for that one. I'm trying to do this project. And then it's like random stuff. It's like, all right, these are just the bars from 2024. So I got a joint named 24. And it's just like little by little, the joints go where they go. And then eventually it's like the good thing about the Google Docs is like you could put comments. So I'll be like, all right, cool. I finished this verse. This verse is used. Because that's the worst thing you could do. You could have a verse and be like, yo, this and that. I use this. It's like, nah, fam, but that's in there. So instead of going back and deleting, you know, because it's like you might have 2 bars here, 4 bars there, this and that. Once you got the final joint, I'll be like, finished, used. I'll put a little comment just to kind of keep, you know what I mean, like organization. I'm not great at organization, but it's like I know for the rhymes, I need to have some level of organization. Because at this point, I don't sit down and write a 16. Like some cats be like, yo, I could sit down and write a 16, whatever. Yo, good for you, more power to you.
Right.
I remember as a kid, I would do that. I'd be like, yo, I got nothing to do. So I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna write until I fall asleep. It could be 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I get up, I do whatever. I mean, I got a 7-year-old at this point. I got, you know, we teach, we got responsibilities. So it's like, at this point now, it's more so than ever hook up by crook. But what I do realize is we have so many tools. It could be a voice note, it could be a text note, whatever, the yellow app on the phone. I don't know what the hell it's called.
Yeah.
And then it's notebooks and it's Post-its and it's whatever you need. Like at the end of the day, I'm not gonna sit here and be a traditionalist to the point where it's gonna stagnate me. Like whatever's gonna help, it's by hook or by crook, and I'm using all the tools at my disposal at this stage in my life. Because I don't want to. I know every time I get something, it could be something. Like it doesn't have to be a lot, but there's always possibilities. So it's like I'm not going to nix a possibility because that could end up being like a dope bar, a dope verse, like a hook, whatever.
So like with your writing style, right? Are you you're writing the bars straight through, or you write it like a free verse, kind of just like a paragraph? How does it look when you're writing the bars? Is it Johnny jumped into the car, stop, enter the next line, or is it just straight through? How does it look?
Sometimes I'll just like literally write and I'm like, this don't gotta rhyme. And I'll just write and try to fill up a page like on some journal stuff, but really more just like getting the the ball rolling. Then I'll go back and I'll like circle like this could be dope, that could be dope. And I usually leave like spaces in between so that if I need to go and just be like put some comment like, oh, this and that, or even if it's a phrase, and then I could put a couple of rhyming possibilities in the spaces. And then I'll take that and if it's like on one side, maybe here, this side, I'll have like the real brainstorming going on. Like it might be here. And then on this side, I'll start like carving. So whatever was here, it's like, all right, cool, I can go in and I can just start building it out from here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it to me, it just helps because I used to try to be like, I'll sit down, damn, today wasn't good. I couldn't I couldn't write nothing. I was stuck. Like I'm just trying to be as writer's block proof as possible. And in that, it's like everything is good writing. Everything that later can be used is good writing. I don't care if it's literally a list of something. I don't care if it's, just some journaling, whatever. It's like, and a lot of that probably has come from education, from teaching. You know what I mean? Because kids they'll sit down and I don't know. I'm like, look, man, just get something down. Because you don't know later, like eventually it could lead to that. Sitting down and being frustrated and whatever, to me, that don't make sense to me. At this stage, it's like I'm not going to allow that to happen because it happened a lot before. I was definitely like, yo, I've written some ill rhymes, and it's like I'll sit down, and if it doesn't become that right off the top, I would feel like I failed. And now it's just at the point where it's like I'm not doing that. It's like production over perfection. That's what I'm trying to live by, that production over perfection all day.
Do you believe in writer's block at all? I don't believe in writer's block. I kind of feel like I've learned writer's block deals with a lot of things with writing deals with situations. So like, for instance, here's an example I would say, All right, somebody goes, I got writer's block. Then you'd be like, yo, tomorrow they need a verse on this joint. They paying 10,000. Now writer's block is cured. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you get what I'm
That's
saying?
real.
So
That's real.
what do you think about that? Is writer's block like I don't believe in it. I just feel like I think it's more of a mood thing. I may not be in the mood. I might need to change where I need to be at, all that. But
Yeah.
how do you feel about writer's block?
It was a thing for me. It was a thing for me. I'm not gonna lie. I think at some point, like you could create that energy. You could create that block. And it's just like I'm putting something on the paper. And I wasn't like that before. I would be like, this and that. This is whack. It might have been. It might be whack. But there might be something in there that you could be like, but what if I went and I freaked this little part of it different and I could use this? And what was it? Like, so right now, and I've heard you mention this before in regards to editing. I forgot where you had mentioned it, but this idea of like writing is there's so many components involved in regards to writing. And it's like, if you really just consider all of those components and utilize like the time to benefit you, it's writing. I think about it like ball players. I saw some shit with Steph Curry the other day, and he was like, yo, I come in, I shoot 5 perfect shots right underneath the basket, and I won't move until I hit those 5. And then I step back, and then I hit another 5. And it's like the cats who come in the gym and just start, like jacking up threes off the rip. He's like, yo, it's the worst thing you could do. I think it's the same with writing. It's like with rhyming. It's like, or any writing. Like, if you just come and sit down, it's like, all right, cool. I'm going to write an essay. All right, cool. I'm going to write this 16. It's like you could do it. But at the end of the day, if you sat down and you just kind of warmed up and you start thinking of like different things and you put something on the paper that kind of entertains you, that has your interest, then you could build off of that. Like, it's become much more of a building process than of just like a quote unquote, I'm just going to sit down and, I mean, LL, there's been a lot of almost like mystification of it. And that's cool, because I do think what we do, there is something mystical to it. And we always think, LL, give me a hit. You want a hit, give me an hour and a pen and a pad. And I think that's dope. That's like, that sounds really cool. But at the end of the day, in that hour, I might do an outline. I might, I might need more than that. And there's no shame in that, because
so what's your revision process like then?
Honestly, I'll build them. Like, it's gotten to the point where it's like, all right, cool. I really like these 8 bars. And then it's like, I'll try to find something that, is up to standard to that. And I can have a transition. So it becomes like a building process. It's almost like gardening, man. It's like farming. You know what I mean? It's like you put the seeds down, you got to water them, and then you come back, you weed out shit. And then, only thing is, like, you're in control of the tempo, you're in control of the pace. It's like with farming, you got to wait. But a lot of the process is similar. It's like, all right, cool. I'll put my seeds down, I'm checking on them, I'm building around them, and then there's a harvest. There's like a harvest process. And that's when you got a verse. It's like, all right, cool. I like how all these joints is working together. And, sometimes just out of, curiosity, I'll sit down and be like, all right, cool. I don't care how whack it is. I'm going to write 16 bars. That shit could be like A, B, C, D, E, F, G shit. It never is, but just to force yourself. Like, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to write the 16. Invariably, the 16 will not be fire. But there'll be components in there that if I put it through my other rigors, I'll get something out of that. And I just think, the stamina involved in sitting down and shutting your phone off and, just be like, all right, I'm going to write. There's something to be said for that too.
Yeah, that's a big thing I try to tell people too. Like, you got to really, like, people may ask me about writing rhymes and how you do this. And I'll be like, man, I sit there. I really will sit there for a minute, whatever the case may be. I wanted to ask you about like revising as well, more about that. Like, do you revise while you're recording? So like you might be in the booth and it sounds dope written, but then you start recording and you're like, give me a minute. You know, I've been in that, you know, I think a lot of us have been in that. You'll give me a second, you know.
I have definitely done that. And the beauty of having like a home studio, that was important to me because it's like one take hold, again, the mysticism, right? One take hold, wow, wonderful. Like, great. I mean, I'm sure he's done that. I've probably done something similar. I've walked in the studio sessions and I've seen like, you know, our heroes, they'll leave the paper behind, like on the little, you know, the little stand or whatever. And I'm like, yo, that's dope. But it's just like a well-crafted verse to me is a thing of beauty. And sometimes like a syllable here, a change there, I changed it to this syllable and now I have alliteration. I changed it to there. You know what I mean? I could get a breath in. I could offset the, you know, it's like, boom, I want to leave the one empty so that, you know, it could build up, you know, allow the beat to hit here. And then boom, you know what I mean? It's like you start thinking of all these things after, you know, we're experienced. We've been doing this for years. And it's like that final craft level, like that. I love that. I love that. And it's like, I'll do it and I'll get a verse. I'll spit that shit 8 times.
Yeah.
And it's like, even with that, I'll start chopping those verses up and be like, yo, let me try this. I like the way I emphasize this and whatever. And then I'll have like this Frankenstein verse. And then that verse becomes the verse that I'm going to spit maybe like 1-2 punches tops. But I'm going to try to like battle that verse.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it ain't that hard. Like, it's just like, but it to me, it's always worth it. Like it's these verses, man. Like when they get done and it's like, all right, cool. Like just the emphasis here, this and that. The cats that I came up on, I always felt like they would do the subtlest things, and it would make the shit so dope. You know, I mean, I forgot to talk about Dayline, how I feel like they do some of the weirdest, coolest, subtle things, and it makes the shit hit different. And
well, you have mentioned also the fact of having the in-home studio. So having that luxury of writing at home in at home studio and then going out somewhere. So what is that like? Do you prefer writing at home and then going to the studio, or you prefer?
I do.
What's up when you pop up? Yeah.
Most of the stuff I do in the crib.
Okay.
I got a decent, like I got a good setup. I've struggled with it to get the sound right, but at the end of the day, cats want a nice flat signal. You know what I mean? Like they don't want too much compression, too much EQ. And at the end of the day, it's like I know what my voice should sound like, at least going in. So it's like if I'm happy with the bass level, like, all right, cool. My tone is right, the flow is right. I hit this, I hit that, boom. I'm ready to send it out. 90% of the stuff I've been doing of late. Every so often I go to lab like, yo, let me go through, try it, whatever. You know, some cats, it's like, yo, you gotta like Marco Polo. I've done all the stuff I've done with Marco Polo. I've done at his crib.
Yeah.
Shout out to I know he had moved recently. I gotta go get up with him.
So you're writing at the house too, like so
writing
that
at the house. Well, I write everywhere. I write everywhere. Like nowhere's off limits.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? I'll be in the middle of a family function. I'm like, I could hear something somebody said, and it's like boom, boom, boom. All right, cool. It's in the phone. Cool. I'll be at the movies. Boom, boom, boom. That's in the phone. I'm at the bar watching ESPN. Somebody says something. Boom, boom, boom. Like, yo, all roads lead to hip hop. You know what I mean? Everything is a whore for hip hop to me, and it's like, and that's on both. That's beats, rhymes, everything. It's like I've always, you know, I was at my school. They were having like a end of the year like performance, you know, type of celebration, and they had, you know, the cheerleading team up there, and it was like I'm sitting there. And kids are acting, you know, whatever, not paying attention, and the girls are doing their thing. And I was like, damn, that's a great, boom. I started recording it. I took it home later. I'm chopping it up. And it's just like, everything can be used. And that's the beauty of hip hop. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of what we do. Like nothing is off limits.
So how long does it take for you to write? Like, is it an hour? Because you know, if you got that luxury as writers, when we have the luxury of like, yo, when you need this done, you know, like if you got that time.
Well, you know, I'm not great because I just got one of your joints, and it was like it took a minute, but it was the end of the school year, so it could be anywhere from like a day or two. I'm not writing a verse in an hour. I mean, if I do, it's because of my thought process now. I don't trust it. Like it's like I might have it, like I've done it. It's like, all right, cool. I like this verse, but if it's ready for prime time, I gotta listen to it again, and I'm gonna scrutinize it. I'm gonna scrutinize that verse, and it's all love at the end of the day. But it's just like to write a verse to me, it's a beautiful thing. It's a work of art. So I'm literally gonna sit there and be like, all right, cool. I'm gonna question this. I'm gonna see if I could do this different, if I could do that different. And that shit, you know, sometimes that gets a little crazy because I don't have songs. I'm like, I'm 2 bars right there. I'm gonna do better than that. Let me pull that out. And luckily for me, I got the home studio, so I could do that. And it's a very basic setup, but at the end of the day, it's enough. So it could be anywhere from a couple of days to a week. And then some certain verses, man, them joints will linger for months. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I was gonna say I learned which I try to I guess talk about on here and let people know is just that a lot of these things that deal with time and writing and being artists is very situational, man. Like, you know, because it got that. I forgot where I saw that. You can make the record or not make the record. I forgot where I heard that from. But you know what I'm saying? You can pop up on a session, and now you got it's Pharaoh, Kweli. You know, you never know. You never know. It's like you in a session, and they like, "Yo, you got something for this? What are you gonna say?" You know what I'm saying? Like
you're gonna try something. You know what I mean?
You're gonna try something.
You gonna want to be on that. And you know, and these days, what I've done before, and honestly, I'm gonna try to do even more so, is just kind of like self mixtape. You know what I mean? Like just get, you know, all right, cool. I'm gonna just grab, you know, let me steal this Bloody Money instrumental, and you know, just I'm gonna put whatever I got to it. You know what I mean? I'm put 40 bars to it, 60 bars. I put back to back, just you know, like 4/16s. And so one, I could learn them better, and two, they could kind of, you know, final for it. They could fight it out and see which one, like, you know, continues to pique my interest and which one might need a little bit more work.
Right.
It's you know, the more I get in, you know, it's been a minute that I've been doing this shit, and I don't see myself not doing it.
So you like writing to the beat, like you said just now, like you might get one of these beats and go in on that. Is it, you know, writing to the beat always, or you have rhymes that's sitting there that you like trying to find a home? Because I learned one day watching that Guru brings the book of rhymes, Premier's playing beats, and then he's kind of fitting it and then doing that. So what's your preference with that? You write into the beat? It's
more the latter, man. Like beats I use to inspire, but I don't really write to them. You know what I mean? Wow, it's like I'll just kind of like, I could get, you know, it's like for the most part, most beats is 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, so it's like I'm chilling and I'm just boom, something pops in. It's like, all right, cool. I got the first bar, second bar. It's in the phone. It's somewhere. It's on a piece of paper, whatever. It's on my hand. And then it's just like, all right, cool. And then I want to try it. You know what I mean? I want to try it to some beats. So it's a beat that I've been feeling, or, you know, there's like 100 beats that as a kid, just growing up, you just love that beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, so it's like, all right, cool. I'm going to just see how it sounds to this. And then if a cat, I'm real picky with the beats. Cats know I'm notoriously horrible with that. But
it's funny because that's my next question right there. There we go.
Notoriously, and it's so bugged too, because it's like, even with my own shit, like I produce too. So it's like with my own shit, I'm like, nah. And it's like, I know I feel like hurt feelings. I've fractured relationships, but at this point, it's like I don't like. I'm a teacher. I've been this 20 years. I've been teaching. I got my pension. I got things set up. I don't have to do nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just like artistically, I don't have to do the shit unless I want to do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of that shit is connected to the beats. You know what I mean? It's like I need to be motivated. Because when I do hear something that I love, I'm gonna want to rhyme on it. I mean,
right.
Shit. It's cool we talking about it. So my man Meticulous, he was like, that's my man. He would just he'll like play stuff for me. I'm like, yo, that's dope. That's dope. That don't mean I want to rhyme on it. But then he played me this one. He was like, yo, could you get this to this other MC? And who happened to be my man. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll send it to him. So I sent it to him and he ain't say nothing. He never hit me back. And I'm like, yo, I get it. No problem. Like, we ain't got to explain it. Like, I understand that. But then I was like, damn, I really fuck with this beat. I like this beat. I like, yo, can I rhyme on it? Can I? So that's the joint that I'm the first on his latest project. It's called Let It Begin. That was the beat. Like I really want, and that one I kind of had to write to because it's kind of like a double time, but like almost like weird, like in between space to like a double time and a regular beat. But it's hard. It's hard. Like I'm glad at least it's not just like sometimes you gotta check yourself. Like, yo, man, you being extra now. But it's like
me and you got this song on the Stu Bangers project.
Yes,
which is dope. Because dope, like for me, where I'm at in the stages of this career is I just kind of want to do songs with a lot of my friends. So I always have on this list of, okay, I gotta get joint with Breeze. Even though I did the Crazy Eights, we did that back then. It's more so like
lie shit you killed too. I was playing that. That was like your words is a fool, man. He bodied
and then I did joints, with your son and all that stuff.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, but I never got like the joint for my album with you.
And now the JRs with it too. I'm just when records like that happen, I'm just so happy.
Well, when it came down to the beat thing, it's like, I could send beats and be like, yo, about this and that, but I kind of more so just be like, when something pops up, I feel it's natural. So working on the Stu Bangers joint and then see you comment that you like that beat, I said, oh, this is it.
Yeah, that shit was hard. I mean, all of his shit is hard, but I heard that. I was like, ooh, that's different.
Yeah, so I don't have to worry about the back and forth and all that. It's like, oh, Breeze like this. I always wanted to do a joint with Breeze. Yo, let me see if the beat is open. And went through all that. So I felt it was dope to be able to just like, I felt lucky to be able to be scrolling and to see you write that there, because you don't know, man. Like you could send beats to people and you just don't know. So now you with the back and forth. So it made it way easier with that. So when you're making beats, do you send out beats to produce for other people? Or are you trying to like sign artists and everything like that?
I think I will eventually. But I think for some reason, I don't think cats think about me as like an MC producer. And I'm not forcing nobody to feel any kind of way. It's like, that's my job to solidify that. And I've done joints, it's like the Uzi Confusion. I did like 75% of the record. As far as
oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Maybe like 60%. Because shout out to Ono. He had to do 2 joints. Obviously, my brother B Slim, he did a banger. But I did a lot of joints on there. And then, I've done like some of my best work I feel like I've done for my sister. And I produced a bunch of stuff on this last project I did, the Hindsight joint. But I'm as, I try to be as pure as possible with this whole hip hop shit.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah.
It hit me in just now because I was looking at the Clear Blue Skies thing. And then I seen Hindsight the other day too, listening to that. The cover, is that intentional? Blue background?
I think we got lucky on that. I had such a good art director. Shout out to Michelle Willems. one of the greatest graphic designers in our game, and she had picked the time and the location and the photographer, and I just thought it was dope. I think honestly the day just kind of like linked up in that way, and I peeped it too,
Okay.
but it was not like, again, like that wasn't my part of the arrangement, so like I was just like honestly really I just felt fortunate that it linked up in that particular way. But
I think
that
it's
was
so
a
dope though.
pick.
I think it's dope that it did work out that way, because it's almost like if I look at the Clear Blue Skies cover and then we get to the hindsight joint, it's almost like zooming into your face of the journey from that day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, real shit.
Because it started there, and now we get to see what you look like after from that journey and that walk. So it's kind of ill. Like if I was to have those albums side by side and just in a gallery or on my wall, it would tell that picture of like somebody even think it's the same thing, but in actuality, it is that journey though. There's a journey in between.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Which is dope. And then amongst that journey, you've been teaching. So how, as a, being a rapper prepared you to be a teacher, like.
That's a great question, man. The one thing I would say, education has helped me with in regards to preparation. Like when you set up a lesson, it really, you have to look in through the eyes of the audience, which is the students.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, all right, cool. I'm gonna hit them with this. Do now. That's gonna get me. Hopefully it will. Will help them to think about this, and then I'm gonna come back with this, and we're gonna hopefully discuss this, and then I'll give them. I'll model this, and then I'll give them time to do it. So in regards to thinking about my audience, I think that being a teacher for this time has kind of almost like stamped that on me. Like, look, what are they seeing? What are they hearing? And I know it's definitely helped with performances. Before I started teaching, it was like, yeah, we just go up there, we're gonna rock, we're gonna do our songs. It's like, nah, like we're gonna lead with this. We're gonna have this, instrumental, or we'll have this original. I want to talk about this. I want to address this with the audience. I want to talk about this. I want to thank them for this. I want to make sure I hit them to this. So in a lot of ways, it's practice. Every day I'm in front of the kids, like, right. And it's like, it's a performance. Like delivering a lesson is a performance. Especially if you care. Especially if you care about the topic, if you care about the kids, and sometimes it's you walk away a little disappointed, like, damn, I really wanted them to get this. I wanted them to like this. Right. I wanted them to think about this. And but then some days it happens. Like it really happens where it's like the way I set it up, it'll like happen in regards to the lesson, and then it'll be even more. Because some kid will ask a question that will make, and then the kids are thinking about that question or make a comment, and it's like it'll clarify things more for them. And
you made me think that all your rhymes and songs and everything, and probably in totality, us as artists, when you said that they may get it later, it made me think like that's kind of wild, because when we put out songs and music, that first day it drops, everybody don't hear it. You might have somebody hear some of the songs 2 years later, 3 years later, and get that lesson. So, it just made me think about like, sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes a student will get it then. Somebody might get it years from now, or, you might do a lesson today and then they're like, yo, remember Mr. Smith said that, Mr. Johnson said, like, they in their life through experience.
Yeah. Real talk. And that has happened to me. Like I live in the neighborhood where my school's at. I teach in Soundview. I live in Soundview. So it's like I'll see kids and they're like, yo, I remember that time, that lesson. I mean, the other day, before I used to teach where we grew up in the Northeast,
Right.
shout out to Souza, Slick Rick went there, AG went there, classic spot across from Eatawall. And I was leaving a restaurant and the kid came in and he was like, Mr. Smith. And not only did I teach him, but my brother taught him as well. And me and Kev, we were leaving the spot. And he talked about the day for the Obama inauguration and the fact that I made them watch it. And, they're kids, so they're silly, you know what I mean? But I was like, yo, understand what you're seeing right now. Like, you might not be able to process it, and you're gonna make it jokes, you're gonna do whatever, but this is history. Like, you're literally seeing history that's different, and this history is different for us than most history that you're gonna be connected to or that you're gonna consider. And then he was like, yo, man, I just really want to thank you because you doing that, like that stayed with me. That stayed with me. I think about that moment, like that started it off right for me. You could have just not done it and whatever, and just made a comment on it. The fact that you made us watch it, he was like, that's something that I know is gonna stay with me. So I love that. I love that, man. I love the fact that the majority of the kids that I teach are like us. Yeah. And it's like, and I show them, like, when I pick a book and I'm like, yo, we're gonna look at this book and just get into it. Like, we have it's just so rewarding. It's really rewarding. So it's like, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm doing what I should be doing. I think I got a good 7 more years with it. And then I'm gonna still be doing this on the side. And we talk about music. They put me on to a lot of stuff. I try to put them on to stuff. I'll have songs embedded in in what I teach them. And sometimes it's songs that previous students have put me on to, because I don't want to be like, it's just my era. You know what I mean? We can't do that. And we lose out and they lose out when we do that. Like, I definitely feel like we could do better as a people in regards to, like, yo, let me put you onto this. Let me put you onto this. But you got to be open to what they gonna put you
open to them too.
You know what I mean? And some of it you're not gonna like, but you got to talk to them why you don't like it. You know what I mean? And you can't be sitting here and be too snobbish in regards to, like, yo, this and that. Because, I mean, coming up, we like some really ratchet shit too.
Oh yeah, we all did.
And I think we have selective memory in regards to that. I even look, to be perfectly honest, I look at some of the shit I said on that first project and I'm like, yeah. I was wilding.
I know.
But they're good bars, but it's like.
But we were super young. We actually were some of the ages of some of these kids that we're teaching now.
A little bit older. I wrote it when I was in high school. And then, by the time it was out, I was like 18, 19.
Yeah.
But it's like, I hear it now and I'm like,
I know what you mean.
Not inviting my 7-year-old to this performance.
Exactly. So with you writing so long, like, you have this skill of, like, similar, like, listening to how you explain things to the students, you have, like, this keen skill for storytelling, which is pretty just prevalent and evident amongst what you've done throughout the years. So what is it like, and what was it like for you to write, like, The Clear Blue Skies? Like, that's the record that I know brought the attention for me. So how I gauge artists, for the most part, that we grew up with and, like, that are friends now, we all know each other and people above us, is from, you go to school and you listen to something and somebody say, yo, you heard that Clear Blue Skies record? You heard this? You heard that? Like, that's how you get introduced. When somebody tells you, have you heard of somebody else? So this song is very prominent, and people love to quote it and what it's about. Can you give people for that haven't heard it what's it about and how you come up with the idea?
A lot of the story joints come from a real place with me on some level. Whether it's like I lived it or my man lived it or somebody, it's usually from like a real familiarity. Yeah. And I even want to try to branch away from that because I don't want to limit myself in that regard. But that one definitely came from a real place.
Okay.
So where we was at in the Bronx, my childhood was definitely like ground zero for white flight. So when we was there, as young as I can remember, by 241st Street, it used to be all Italian, Irish, and you could see it too because not too far over, like literally like a half a mile over was Yonkers and McLean Ave. So I guess the people who were in our area, and I could see it, like I could really see it when I look at the school pictures. So in the school pictures, it was like, all right, cool. When first grade, we was half and half. By like fifth grade, it was like 75%, black and Spanish and the rest white. Wow. By eighth grade, there was like one white. There were like two white boys. You know what I mean? Yeah. And both of them ended up, going and having kids with black women because they were in the hood. They were comfortable in the hood, and it was like they was just loving what was around them.
Right.
And they was a part of that. There was a part of that culture on multiple levels. But they had parents. You know what I mean? And it was like for one of them, like, and to be honest, like she was like a mother to us. Like my mother had to run to the store. She was like, go get Miss So-and-so. And she held us down. But people have what they have, and it's like I don't even call it. It's more biases than anything, even with good people. You know what I mean? People, this and that. They cool, they down. They still gonna have biases. We got it. We can't get away from that in a lot of ways. So again, he had, one of my men was, he was definitely about that life. He was, he played ball. He was cool. I remember he came home. He had a record signed by Keith Cowboy. Like he was really about the culture, and he was good at everything. Black, quote unquote. You know what I mean? Like all the shit. The only thing he couldn't do was rhyme. He could do everything else. I even tried to write rhymes for him because he was just like that dude. Right. And then just chilling at his house one day, and his mom was like, "When you gonna bring home some girls? Some nice girls with some blue eyes." And I'm sitting right there, and I'm just like, I don't think she's talking about no exotic Johns. You know what I mean? He tell you she ain't talking about no Brazilian Johns. They wasn't out here, Cape Verdeans or whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, all right. Cool. I still love her. I love her forever. So at the end of the day, I was building with Kev. I had just started school at Adelphi, and Kev was like, yo, we need to really do some joint about just like this idea of perfection and beauty, and we should just call it Clear Blue Skies. Yeah. He had the name. Shout out to my brother, Kev Fever the Kid, B Slim. And I was like, word? I was like, all right, this is what let me work on that. And in my mind, I was thinking about what she had said 4 years previous. Dope. And it just kind of came together real quick. And I probably wrote that in a day. And the record just was so dope. Like it was like just how the shit happened. I thought it was
dope, man. I thought it was dope that I saw y'all performing it the other day. Wise Guy went live. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't even know that.
We went live while y'all was at was it Rough Trade? Am I saying that? Rough Trade.
Shout out to Rough Trade at NYC.
I was at Rough Trade. Wise Guy went live. He got like maybe 19 minutes of y'all rocking. So I got to watch. Like
I love that brother, man. I love that brother. Man.
So I saw y'all do the record. So then it was just dope. Like Well, I don't think I've ever seen y'all do the record. One, you know what I'm saying?
I think you
Because
probably have, because I think we've rocked together and we've done the joint.
yeah,
But it was dope in that sense because it was so intimate.
yeah.
That it just, and the fact just, rocking with the fam. And
That's what I wanted to say. Like seeing you and your brother rhyme back and forth on it, I was like, yo, this is a moment,
yeah.
watching y'all do it. So y'all were there at Rough Trade for the re-release, right?
Yeah.
So tell us, how did it come about to say we're gonna re-release this project again, and what came into that decision? Is it like the anniversary, all of that stuff? What's that?
Well, we don't technically have an anniversary. Let me just
Okay.
start there. And it's not no bashing or nothing. It's just like when we first did the project with Bobito, we couldn't come up. I talked to him to try to get the release date. He couldn't really like put like a hard date on it. We know it was 96, obviously, but it wasn't like the actual day. We can't do that. So I talked to Dart Adams. Shout out to Dart Adams. If Dart Adams can't find the day it was released, he gave me a window. He's like, 96, probably around March. I was like, all right,
Okay.
cool. Let's do that. I talked to Eclipse. I talked to everybody who would know regularly. So, it's close to 30 years. 25 year kind of came and went. I wasn't really crazy about that. I wanted to, I felt like the record deserved some type of celebration.
Yeah.
And during that time, I was we had the Fat Beats 25 anniversary, and we had performed over there, and that was a great show at Sony. And the cat Matt Diamond, he used to work at Fat Beats. Shout out to Coleman.
Yep.
And he was like, yo, man, a lot of people still don't have that record. Like, what I mean? Even though you've re-released it before, like it's just out of print. And I think people would like a good, like remastered, like a really comprehensive representation of that work. So, Kev went to work, he dug up like flyers, pictures, all kind of stuff. And I had to just go over, like rewrite I had to make sure that the rhymes were correct. So if you buy it, if you open it up, it has like literally, I think every verse on there except the upper stretch and bottom.
So that's what I'm talking about.
So you can see the whole shit, and it's correct because I went over it.
That's what I'm talking about, because I think, Breeze, you're one of those artists that we need to be reading it. Like we need to read it, like for real. Like, yo, I love beats and all of that stuff, but like where it's gone to now is that everything has become this literature and it's being documented as this literature. Like, whether it can be Nas Illmatic. People love Illmatic, but I've gone to Harvard and they actually are archiving. They have an archive of Illmatic with all the art on this film paper and all, like lyrics, everything is. So I feel like, you getting your just due with having these lyrics out to read. It's just way more impactful for the person listening. So I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, so, man, and it's bug, because I mean, as we talk about writing, like, it's bug. I'm a writer. Like I could say that, what I mean? There's different types of writing and all that. And as a kid, like I like to write. I'll write little stories. I look at my daughter now; she write her little stories.
Nice.
And at the end of the day, it's like if somebody asks, well, what do you want to do when you grow up? I was like, yeah, I want to be a writer. And I tried to, like write for magazines and all that. It ain't really fit me. It was bug, like, like critiquing other MCs. It felt weird.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It felt so weird to me. And shout out to my man, Tim Hotep, Tim C. Like he tried to put me on, and it just felt, something like just brotherhood wise of writers. It's just like like, who am I? Like, you giving your contribution, I'm gonna give mine, and it's like somebody got to do it. It just didn't feel right coming from me.
Yeah, I don't think. I think it's weird sometimes when rappers outwardly like critiquing other artists when we know what it takes to go through to write these
bars.
The time it takes. So with you not liking to write that, how about like going into the musical aspect of writing? Because you did Prince Among Thieves. So how was that aspect of writing that turning into basically a visual musical for the world to see? Are you venturing more into that world? You think about writing that type of stuff?
I would love to just like continue writing. Like most of the writing I've been doing of late has been for my students. So I'll write them, but like, look, I'm gonna write a play for y'all so y'all can see what it is. You can see the process, you can see the structure. And I've written like just like little joints, and then it'd be like, all right, cool, we're doing memoirs. So I'm gonna write a memoir for y'all. And then it's like we're writing a short story. So I'm gonna write a short story for y'all. Allegory. Cool, I'll write you an allegory. Whatever it needs to be, I'll write it for them. But in doing that, it's like, damn, I'm thinking after, the thing is like time is a finite resource, right? So it's like I want to get these records out. I want to finish with enough catalog so I could feel satisfied as an artist. And honestly, that could go on forever until there's no forever. But the amount of effort that goes into teaching, it's a heavy lift, as it should be, because you got to care about these kids. You got to be on point. You got to get your grade book up. You got to be able, you got to comment on they stuff. You got to, it's a never ending process for 10 months. So what I'm starting to think of that more, man, just like in regards to, playwriting and short stories and novels. It's like I think about dudes like August Wilson, Walter D. Myers, and the impact that them dudes have had on just kids who maybe just like, I'm not really into reading, and then I'll teach fences, and they're like, yo, this is insane. And I'm like, yeah, this is really ill. And then fences becomes a gateway drug for Death of a Salesman, and Death of a Salesman becomes a gateway drug for Othello. And it's just
fences. I own fences. You mean like like the one that Denzel did, but the actual
Nah, I do the play. I do the play.
Yeah. I own that joint. Like that.
It's so much fun to teach.
I love that.
I mean, Troy Maxson is like, he's that dude. Like he's iconic.
In it's powerful too. Like it's extremely powerful. So what with the Prince Among Thieves, what was it like to see what you wrote turn into this visual kind of movie though? Like
honestly, I give that all to Paul. Like Paul had the whole play written. He had the whole play written. Like I have a copy of the joint, and he was like, look, the cool thing about him was he didn't let me hear everything at once.
Okay.
So I didn't get to hear like, Weapon World. I didn't get to hear the joint with Everlast. I didn't get to hear the Kane shit, the Chubb Rock, none of that. He said, focus on your joints. This is what I need you to do.
Right.
These are the songs. And that joint right there, he's one of my heroes. Like when I think about just his approach to art, like production, like he changed the game forever with production. And I don't think it's said enough in regards to, the way how cats go. And like cats wasn't sampling non-musical stuff, like stuff that was not set up. Like it went from James Brown to, all the weird, cool stuff. And I know that that's a combination of all of them.
Let me tell you, Breeze, when I went to the University of Miami for a master's in music business, right? I'm taking these classes. One of the classes dealt with production and sampling. A YouTube video they showed me? Prince Paul. I'm sitting there.
It's my man.
I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I was like, yo, they're using Paul to teach these students here. So that's how the impact of what Paul has, with skits, coming up with that and all this stuff and putting it together. Yeah.
Brilliant,
and people don't understand. Like he did the Malcolm X documentary on Netflix. He's done so much. I've done so much with Paul, just understanding the the people to get for the right job, I think that's where his genius is too. From doing grave diggers, it's just he has a vision, and then he knows who to go and where to get it, and it comes out dope, man.
That's a great way to put it.
I got one more question for you, man. 3 producers you want to work with.
You trying to get me in trouble?
No, it ain't got to be the only. Because sometimes I mean, I always try to tell people on here, like, because I do like top 5 rappers or 5 rappers. And sometimes what I've been trying to do, honestly, is name people that don't get their respect. So if somebody say,
well, that's who I'm coming with. Like, that's definitely who I'm coming with.
Right.
There's definitely dudes out here, and shout out to everybody who has hollered at me and want to work with me. I appreciate y'all. And for the most part, it's like, again, purity. Like, there's so few things in life that are like pure, but when it comes to like the attraction of hearing a beat that you're like, damn, I need that. It's so primal and so beautiful. Like, I just want that.
Right.
I want that feeling, and at the end of the day, that's really what it could be when it's like, let me combine my talent with that and see if it works. Shout out to Pete and Common. It's so wild when we were talking about rhymes and this and that. I don't know if you heard the project yet. It dropped yesterday.
No, I will be hearing it today because I actually finished listening I was almost finished listening to Eminem. So after I finished the Eminem project, I think there's like 3 more songs left. Then I'm going to the Common and Pete Rock.
Yo, it's beautiful. It's such a beautiful project. I think it's Common's possibly best lyrical album.
Dope.
Like, I know that's a wild thing to say,
for
what he's done, but just shout out to him for just being just a real craftsman, and being real in regards to the subject matter, but still being just so creative and so hip hop and b-boy, the references.
I'm happy it's not too late for that album. That's the one thing, just being a fan, a lot of times I look at that stuff too. We know of these people and stuff, but being a fan. Also this morning, LL released his joint called Passion, Fire.
Word? Okay.
It's
the last joint that he had did with Fat Joe and Ross was nuts. And shout out to Q-Tip, man. I should have mentioned him in regards to MCs as well, because he is like the epitome of cool. Like, you know what I mean? When you think about like jazz and like, yo, them dudes are just cool. I feel like he's that for us. And it's like, because it ain't like all barred out all the time, but he's like flavor incarnate. You know what I mean? It's just like such flavor. And it's like I've it's a Fly Love song. Like, look, I've copied some of that shit in homage.
Yeah, I want to hear what you think when you listen to that Passion joint. Text me and tell me what you think. It's a video. It's a music video for it too.
All right, so check it. But producers.
Yeah, what 3 you
honestly,
because you got me.
I'm gonna say somebody that cats don't think about enough, and I'm just a huge fan of. I think High Tech is insanity. Like, I feel like he's like, and shout out to everything he did with Talib, and like, I feel like I still go back to the Reflection Eternal joints.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's anyway, man. Like, I'm a real fan of that brother. I don't know how to reach out. Maybe he'll see this.
High Tech is on the gram. Hit him on the gram, yo.
That dude is amazing. I'm a real fan of his. So that's one. And there's so many others. I don't want to get so I'll put that as my, like a dream pick cat to work with. And then there's a young lady named JP.
Yo, I just was talking to JP yesterday on Instagram as well.
Shout out to JP. I feel like she just gets it in regards to just how the shit moves and just like how, like, her attention to the drums. And I just feel like she's otherworldly with it. I really like Like she's just so hip hop, just
Yeah.
how her shit is set up. So shout out to JP. And damn, I'm trying to think a third one. There's this cat, drum something, drum
Okay.
he be doing the re-whips. Is it drum dealer? Drum, damn, I gotta look it up. Anyway, this is his brother. He be doing. I feel bad now. I gotta try to find the re-whips. Let me see if I can look up the re-whips to get his name correctly, because this cat is insanity. And I have a project coming out with my man, B Money. You know that I've done so many stuff. Like he's lacing me for years. This is my old Fat Beats brethren, Divine Drummer.
Divine Drummer. I follow Divine.
I'm a real fan of his, and you know, I'm working on this project with my brother B Money. That's one of the joints that's coming out. You know, and there's so many more, man. You know, child actor. I mean, I know you said 3, but you know, August Fanning. There's so many like really, really good producers now. And you know, in my camp, you know, shout out to my brother Kev Fever, you know, and honestly, I'm producing a joint, and it's bug how we talked about the sampling. I'm trying to do a joint, you know, where sampling will not be a problem. Let me just put it that way. And I'm not saying I'm playing everything. I'm saying sampling will not be a problem, because I feel like there's so many resources for that, that we don't need it. Like, if we're gonna be honest, like that hip hop sensibility in regards to the ear, like we know, like the cats who've been doing this and have been fans forever. You know what I mean? It's like we've taken stuff and repurposed it in a way, you know, hook a beat up in a hip hop form. Like Rakim was so ahead of his time. Like we know what that sounds like. And as long as we're true to that and we put energy to that, like they got plugins for it. You know, they got old gear you could buy cheap just to make the shit sound like something. And it's, you know, like the getting sued and all that, they need to come up with something else. And they are, you know, this joints like Track Lib and all that. But like for what hip hop has done to revitalize so many careers, I don't know why it's not viewed like that. Certain cats get it, and other dudes don't. It makes you want to not sample, you know.
Yeah, I mean, on my end, like my last project, I think maybe I got 1 record, maybe with a sample on it, or 2 at the most. But my process of going forward, for the most part, is not every producer. I'm not saying I don't want samples. If you dope like that, I'm gonna ride it out with you. But I'm in this world of like trying to get more sync placements anyway. That's my mindset.
What I was just gonna say. And you were my inspiration for that. I'm not even gonna front.
I'm more into that.
You were my inspiration for that. So I'm trying to have a whole project that I'm producing that the beats are you know, are gonna be basically, you know, cleared, you know, because of the process. I don't want to talk too much about it because there's somebody else flipping and bouncing, not even. Right. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm doing, and it's because of what, you know, that joint you had did, and I was like, yo, my man's winning. He's winning. Man. He made like a real ass song, and look at this, like the legs that joint had, and I was just like, I want them legs. I want to try to get an independent film or commercial, CSI, whatever. Like there's a place for that. So I want to try to, you know, do the placement game, because it's like, why not? Like when I was on with Hindsight, you know, they were like, yo, this got samples. I was like, yeah. And it was like, it kind of shut down a window of opportunity. And I was like, I got to do this different moving forward.
Yeah, you know, for people that don't know, like if you're watching, the way that most people buy music now is actually from TV. So when people are sitting there and they're watching a show, they either gonna ask, you know, Siri for it, or they're gonna ask, you know, the A, and or they're gonna like, what's the other word? Shazam it. So they might just do that, and then that's where. Then once it takes it to it, they just either save it, buy it right there. It's such instantaneous purchasing from what they see on TV and everything that's kind of, you just kind of want to prepare be prepared for that, you know. So, but
yeah, you set that off, man. And I forgot to say Seb Bash. Shout out to Seb Bash. We have both rocked over his beats.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my brother, my Switzerland family. You know what I mean?
What's up, Seb? Yeah, man. So I appreciate you spending this time, man. I try to do an hour because I try to respect people's time, but I don't mind if we talk longer. I don't want to.
Nah, this has been dope, man. This has been really dope.
I know people who live in life, so I'll be like, I'm gonna try to keep it with an hour. I got these questions, but if they feel free talking, I'm with it, man. But yeah, let everybody know what you got coming up, the social media handles and all of that.
You know, you can reach me. I'm pretty accessible through Instagram. I haven't done, TikTok or none of them other joints. It's a lot for me, so I'm gonna leave it there. I'm still on formerly X, formerly Twitter. Should be Twitter. Now X. I'm on there. You can reach out to me there, and I got
what
two projects I'm trying to work on. Oh, it's Breeze Brewin on both. Both the Breeze Brewin, like one word. Yeah, man, working on a couple of things, working on a podcast. I ain't gonna speak too much on it, but it's gonna be with the fam. We're gonna talk about things we know about. So you can make your emphasis there. And then the other thing is I do a radio show, Gorilla Grooves Radio. Shout out to Fred Ones and of course my man Rhinoceros Funk. Paulie Walnuts. We trying to keep this going, trying to keep a platform. For this music, so many people doing good music and they need more spaces to get it out there. So, it's just another like side of the game that when I went to a Delphi, I was, they had radio. I wanted to be involved with that. And then they ended up selling a studio to Nassau Community College. So that's a whole nother conversation, but it's nice, like at least exploring that because radio was so important. To us coming up with, I remember that's one of the ways I heard y'all. You know what I mean?
Bobito.
You and Punch. I heard y'all on there. I think I heard y'all on Mayhem and Sunset too. Back in the days. So it's just nice having that platform to just try to give cats the opportunity to have this stuff heard, by people. So shout out to Gorilla Grooves Radio every other Tuesday from 7 to 10.
Dope.
Mixler. You can find us on Mixler, the app. And just trying to do this, man. Trying to stay inspired and inspire. You know what I mean? Like that loop of
now this conversation. I don't have nothing produced by you, so now you got to send me something.
let me come out with the project, and then if you can hit me like, yo, Breeze, I need something, or you could be like, Breeze, stick to rhyme.
I'm always there if you got something, but I'm like, send me something to write to, man. But so once again, shout out to Breeze Brewin, Juggaknots. I appreciate you being here. Everybody that's watched, I appreciate your time, and I ask you, what are your words worth? Peace. Yeah, man. So
shout out to our sponsor, the Wizker. If you're into skincare, the Wizker will help prevent razor bumps and make sure you got smooth skin all around. Make sure you order it on Amazon, the Wizker. Make sure you check out Wordsworth-Productions.com. There you can book me if you want to book me for shows, consultations, panels, and things of that nature. And also it'll give all the upcoming shows that I'll be attending or performing at or appearing at as well. Wordsworth-Productions.com. We write plays, books, movies, anything that deals with writing and creativity. Contact us.